Good evening and welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for October 8th, 2013. Call the meeting to order at 7:01. Roll call, please.
Colin McNabb present.
And Bob Plamon present. I'd like to make a notice at this point, 1.2, that this meeting is being tape recorded. 1.3, Chairman's additions or deletions, 3.9. That would be a review request from Police Chief Irving Marshall to approve a temporary waiver for Brent W. Davis from the basic police recruit training provisions of General Law, Chapter 41, Section 96B. We'll get to that. Okay, excuse me. 1.4, review and approve meeting minutes of September 17th and September 24th, 2013.
I've read them and have no issues.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes for September 17th and September 24th, 2013.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we're prepared to vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, did both of them, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see we don't get too far ahead here. Okay. Appointments. We'll go right into the meeting business. 3.1, review and approve fire department standard operating guidelines for the venture crew.
Yeah.
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening. As you know, we sponsor the venture crew as part of a program that we instituted almost 2 years ago now. And what we're doing now that the crew has got up and going and started to do some of their training, we thought it was an opportune time now to put forth a guideline on their operation within the fire department and how do they utilize what they can do, what they can't do, being able to work and ride with us in training sessions, and then how we utilize them on a call-up for various emergencies, whether that be brush fire, natural disasters, or what the case may be. And this is just a guideline that we've worked with Tom Whittier, the leader of the venture crew, as well as my officers to come up with. We're working on this now for a number of months, and I'm bringing it forward now for the board's final approval, or to send on to legal if that be the case.
Chief, are these guidelines pretty much standard, like other communities that have the same venture crews? Are these pretty much format?
I think it's kind of unique to Townsend because I don't think there's too many venture crews in the area. Do you?
Well, there's not a lot of venture crews that do this. There are some, but there's a lot of explorer posts that do this. Very similar thing. The only difference is in the eyes of the Boy Scouts of America. They're both part of the Boy Scouts. They just have different origins. But we considered ourselves a venture crew because we're both hired venture as well as occupation-based, being fire and EMS. So all the stuff the limitations that are imposed and the allowances are standard across the country. They're established by the Boy Scouts of America as well as the National Fire Protection Association.
That's really the only question I had. Anything to you?
I mean, I think it's a
great idea.
I think it's a great idea, and I think it's a great program. I can speak from personal experience because one of the venture crew is going to be my sister-in-law someday. So
Must be Anna.
yes. But I think it's a wonderful program, and I think you have a great group of kids, and it's good to see. And it's a great avenue to look into, a future career in the fire service.
I support the program as well and enthusiastically. And just one question, just to sort of put my little legal hat on. Not that I'm a lawyer. I don't pretend to be. I'm just saying, in terms of liability for the town, how I know there's some provisions in here regarding liability. Could you just address that issue? Just only because of I think people might have some questions.
We first approached you way back when. We provided you a liability waiver even before you said it was okay. So our liability waiver is maintained by the Boy Scouts of America. So whenever they're functioning, either as a crew outside the town service or within the town service, be it the ride-along program or emergency response or training, they're all covered by the Boy Scouts of America liability insurance.
That's what I want to hear. Okay.
And we put those things in there. We put the guidelines in there so nobody's freelancing and they clearly understand that they can't do that.
Okay. All right. I don't have any further questions. Okay. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we approve the fire department standard operating guidelines for the venture crew.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we're prepared to vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bob, while the chief is here, maybe we could jump down to 4.2, which is a fire department appointment of some individuals.
Is that 4.2?
4.2, yeah.
I'm just shutting my phone off so it doesn't go off during the meeting here. That'd be a bad boy.
We'll take it away from you.
Okay, 4.2. Vote to appoint the following to the fire department with terms from October 8th, 2013 to June 30th, 2014. Votes may be taken. Krista Ward, on-call EMT/B. Ben Simmons, on-call firefighter/paramedic. Eric Mannion, on-call firefighter, paramedic.
That would be
That's
it.
Okay.
I make a motion that we appoint the following to the fire department for terms from October 8th, 2013 to June 30th, 2014. Krista Ward, on-call EMT, B. Ben Simmons, on-call firefighter, paramedic. Eric Mannion, on-call firefighter, paramedic.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Go back up to 3.2. Review vacancy notice and mission for the fires, the EMS Chief Screening Committee. Okay, Chief? Do you want to handle
Yeah, I
that?
can talk to this. We talked about this at the last meeting, and the board asked me to put together a posting for your review based on the conversation of the last meeting, and put together basically a mission statement for the Fire EMS Chief Screening Committee consisting of 7 members, either the police chief or the deputy chief, 2 call members of the Townsend Fire Department, one of whom shall be an officer, full-time member of the department, a department head that is not part of the Fire EMS department, and 2 residents, one of whom is affiliated in some fashion with North Middlesex Regional Schools. And then as advisors to the committee, non-members, non-voters, myself and a fire chief or a superior officer from an area community. In talking with colleagues in other communities that have gone through these selection processes for public safety chiefs, whether it be fire or police, they've all said that having the participation of a chief or a superior from another community is very beneficial in terms of asking the right questions and objectivity, so that you're getting a full vetting of the candidates. And then the only, if that's satisfactory to the board, the only outstanding piece is if you want to direct them to give you a certain number of finalists.
Or what?
A certain number of finalists. Ultimately, the final decision will be the Board of Selectmen's. You can leave it open-ended and say, provide us with a list of finalists. You can say, give us 3, give us 5, give us, pick a number. So you can be specific on it, or you can just say, provide us a list of finalists.
Personally, I would just like to see a list of finalists, because I don't want to limit it if there, I don't anticipate there being a lot. I mean, there may be 5, there may be, there may be 3, however many, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't want someone to be excluded simply because an arbitrary number was imposed. That's
Right.
my thinking.
Yeah, you could run into a numbers game if you
I
put
mean,
a
that's just
limit.
I don't want a good candidate to be eliminated because of, well, I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I agree. I think with, none of the board members are going to be on this committee. I think that you're right. I think that if we limit it to a number and there's 2 candidates who are close, it's taking away the final decision from us to to be able to interview them.
Okay.
So,
So if we could, I don't know, we don't need a motion for that. We could just put,
Yeah, we can just say a list.
A list of
Shall
finalists.
forward the name of finalists.
Names of-
Names
yeah.
of finalists.
not just put a number. Okay. Any other comments?
no,
Okay.
I think I've read this.
Yep.
It's very well put together. I have no issues with the makeup of the committee, and I think it's a good proportion of
Okay.
fire to non-fire members.
We don't need a formal motion on that. It's great.
I think just to kind of close the loop,
Close the
if the
loop.
board wants to approve the
As stated.
posting, the vacancy notice as written.
Can we post this on the town website?
Yes,
Please?
yep.
Okay. Can we have a motion, please?
Yeah, I make a motion that we, where is it? Make a motion that we approve the mission as stated for the Fire EMS Chief Screening Committee.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded.
With no limit on,
With no limit on number of
finalists.
finalists.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, 3.3. Review draft requests for proposals for the lease of the Hart Library. Wendy, please.
yes, this is following up on the conversation that we had at the last meeting. We took a look through the history of the efforts to dispose of the Hart Library. A couple of years ago, town meeting voted to allow us to enter into a lease agreement to lease the property. Town meeting has not authorized the sale of the property. So we couldn't sell it even if we wanted to.
Right.
Until town meeting authorized that. I made a few changes to the RFP from what was issued a couple of years ago. I don't know if the board wants to
Yeah, I was
have
gonna-
a
that- you
full
know, it's just-
conversation tonight or wait till Sue, till we have
Yeah,
a
I think
full
I'd like to
board.
wait till Sue's here, and then we
Yeah.
can get into it. I mean, can you just maybe briefly touch on what, any significant changes from the previous request?
I cut out some of the limiting or the restrictive components.
On potential buyers?
For potential tenants.
Okay, yeah. I did see some, one was a bed and,
B&B, I think, is allowed in the zoning district.
well, I think it would require a special permit. There was a pretty, I wish I could find it here.
Yeah, bottom of page 2 and top of page 3 has the allowed uses. B&B is allowed as a special permitted use in the
Right.
district. So it's,
We're requiring a special permit. Is that what you're talking about?
right, requiring a special permit. The items above that are allowed as of right, without the benefit of a special permit, or without the requirement of a special permit. So municipal purposes, educational, single-family, retail,
Right.
office and professional, restaurants, self-storage. I don't think we have to worry about self-storage there.
No.
I don't
good.
think it's commercially viable, and uses incidental to the
Okay.
above. So those are all allowed by what we call by right, just a building permit. And then 4 uses are allowed only by special permit: bed and breakfast, a multifamily dwelling up to 6 units, mixed use residential and commercial, and boats, campers, trailers, farm equipment, and construction equipment. Again, another use I don't think we have to worry about.
Right.
For good or for bad, we're limited by, or interested tenants are limited by the zoning in the area, which, was obviously put in for good reason. The couple of other things that I didn't change, but I've flagged for change going forward if we do go out and put this out on the street again, is to back off a little bit on the submission requirements, make it clear that we're not looking for detailed architecturals at the time of RFP, at the time of proposals. We're looking for a sketch and a description. We want to do this. This is kind of what it's going to look like. This is what we envision. But not make somebody spend $5,000 or $10,000 in architectural or civil engineering.
We want to make it as sort of.
We want to
Yeah.
facilitate the interest and get somebody interested in it. The other thing and this is on page 4 under price proposal. And this is I guess this is maybe the primary discussion point for the board. And again, I'll bring it up now, but maybe we want to talk about it when we have the full board present. In A in the middle of page 4, the price proposal, the two items there, they're the estimated cost of improvements and the annual lease amount. Maybe we don't want to even charge a lease, charge a payment. Maybe we just want to say, you improve it, whoever wants to do the best improvement, the best rehab, you get it.
As an incentive to attract more bidders.
Yeah, so that's one thing to consider.
Because it would take a substantial investment of capital just to
Yes.
bring the facility up to
code, yeah.
Yeah.
code for.
Again, when you take into consideration the anticipated presence of lead paint, the
Asbestos.
potential for asbestos, although we don't know that for sure. There may be some mold remediation that has to take place. There's some plaster repair that needs to take place. People that have looked at it have said, well, we need to take out all the windows, put in new windows. That's a pretty sizable undertaking. Accessibility, depending on what you're going to use it for. If you have to put in an elevator, that's $50,000 to $100,000 right there.
Handicap ramp.
Yeah,
Handicap.
handicap ramp, because of the distance to the front door, the vertical distance, handicap ramp would be very challenging.
What I'm saying is from the side, going, like, would they have to angle it over from the parking lot, say, over, and then.
Yeah, you'd probably end up
Slope.
having to do a series of switchbacks
Right.
on your ramp, because you can only go.
I didn't mean from the street, I meant from,
Right, from the
parking lot.
parking. Even so, it's probably 8 feet vertical from the front yard to the entrance door, to the threshold. And you're limited to how far you can go on slope before you have a level area.
Right.
And you can go up again, you have another level area. So it would be quite a long ramp in order to get there, so.
Would that be?
And you also have a basement, and you can't get to the basement through, without a ramp either.
I'm not familiar with how inclusive the handicap laws are with respect to architecture and improvements. So would any use of that building require upgrades to make it handicap accessible, or are there uses that would not require that type of investment?
I'd have to confirm with the building inspector, but I'm pretty sure that there are uses that you do not have to make the entire building accessible. I think
'Cause that's
professional.
obviously a factor in price.
I think professional uses do not have to be handicap accessible.
Okay.
Any municipal use, if you want to run a daycare or something like that, you'd want to make it accessible, so.
Residential, would you have to make it accessible?
Over a certain number of units, you do, but I don't know what the,
Say somebody wanted to put two units.
probably not for 2, no, but I think at some point, it trips in where you have to do handicap accessibility.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have any other question, you? Okay.
Do you want to hold it for the next meeting when we have a full board?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
it's not something that's time sensitive.
No, not really.
I mean,
We can certainly-
We can wait for 2 weeks.
2 weeks is not gonna... If we had a bit of chomping, eagerly waiting, it'd be a different story.
Right.
All right.
And nobody has called since our last meeting to ask when it's gonna be ready, so. Unfortunately.
All right, 3.4, review and approve one-day special liquor license on October 12th, 2013, from 5 PM to 9:30 PM for Colin McNabb for the Knights of Columbus at 1 School Street.
We will call Sue and ask her to participate remotely for
Okay,
this.
Okay.
We checked with her and she was willing to do that, so
okay,
The Knights appreciate
we'll
that.
patch her in and
yeah.
Hello, this is Karen. You're on speakerphone. There you go.
Good evening, Sue.
Hi, sorry I'm not there, guys, just not feeling up to it.
I hope you feel better. We hope you feel better.
Yeah.
We have this evening a one-day special liquor license to be issued to Colin McNabb for the Knights of Columbus, and he would have to recuse himself, so it would obviously require, approval by the two of us to have that move, to grant that. So at this point, I would, if you have no, I'd like to make a motion to approve a one-day special liquor license on October 12th, 2013, from 5 PM to 9:30 PM for Colin McNabb for the Knights of Columbus at 1 School Street.
Second, I do have a question,
Go ahead, Sue.
procedural, Andy. I mean, I know that we can do a telecommute or whatever conference kind of call for
correct.
stuff.
Yep,
Does that, I mean, you guys had a roll call at the beginning and only two of you were there.
correct. And the minutes will reflect that you participated remotely for a portion of the meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah.
All right. It's been seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we'll prepare to vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so noted.
Call recusals or if anybody recused or
Yes,
is not voting.
any recusal.
I recuse myself.
The record will note that Mr. Colin McNabb has recused himself from this particular vote.
Thanks, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
Sue, do you want to continue to participate for the rest of the meeting or?
Yeah, I guess I can excuse myself if I'm not feeling well.
Okay.
We're happy to have you. Okay.
Does that cell phone have enough battery in it?
Yeah, we've got about, looks like about 80%, so we'll be good.
All right, 3.5, authorized posting for an interim town treasurer.
As I noted at the last meeting, Kathy Rosbach has filed her intention to resign her position effective at the end of November. And we also have legislation pending on Beacon Hill to convert the collector to an appointed position from its current status as an elected position. We're not sure how long that will take before the ink is dry on all of that process, so I want to move forward with at least a portion of this position. So what I'm asking for the board to do tonight is to approve the posting and the hiring of an interim town treasurer only at this point. And then at such point as the legislature acts on the collector statute charter change, we would then do a permanent posting or a posting for the permanent position of collector and treasurer.
All right. Let's see. You have any questions?
No, it's fairly straightforward. I have no issues.
Entertain a motion, please.
I make a motion.
Hold on a second, please. Sue?
Well, I have a question. How long do you think it will be before you'll hear from the general court?
I wish I knew.
It could be a year from now.
Could be.
So
Based
what
on our
happens with the ballot?
based on my conversations with the staff for our representative and senator, we expect that it will be a month or two, but they can't
Okay, so
can't promise
before I
anything.
would have the ballot ready then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I make a motion that we authorize the posting for an interim town treasurer.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we're prepared to vote on. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna, take off, guys.
Okay, take care of yourself.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sue.
Sue.
All right,
Thank you.
Feel
Thank
better.
you.
Bye.
Yep, bye-bye. Okay. 3.6, review letter of appreciation to Sterilite Corporation for improvements to athletic facilities at Hawthorne Brook Middle School.
As the board will recall, the Sterilite Corporation stepped up a year and a half ago, and replaced the dilapidated courts over at the Hawthorne
Nice
Brook
job.
Middle School. They did an excellent job, really opened it up. They took down some trees, got some sunlight in there. They replaced the tennis courts. They rebuilt a basketball court and built a sand or beach volleyball court there as well. After that was done, and it had to sit for a while, and I know that we had some inquiries from people about why isn't it being used, why isn't it being striped. The asphalt has to be allowed to cure, and the oils come out of the asphalt before you can paint it. Otherwise, the striping and the lines won't hold. So that process, that was the reason that the courts had to sit for a while unpainted. That work has now been done, but we thought that it was appropriate to send a formal letter of thanks to Mr. Stone and to the Sterilite Corporation. In most cases, tennis courts would be a sufficient contribution for a corporation to make. They've not only done that, but they many years ago they did at least one playground renovation over at Kids Country over at the Spalding, the so-called Fessenden Field, and of course the most significant contribution that they've made, which is the library, senior center, and meeting hall. So Sterilite has been a fantastic corporate citizen, and we have much to be thankful of with them, and they continue to help us out. So put together the attached letter for the board's consideration, and can make changes if you want, or if you're okay with it, we can move ahead with
I
it.
don't have any problem with it. I just wanted to just thank Mr. Stone and the entire Sterilite Corporation for not only the tennis courts, as you said, but all the other gifts to the town, which were obviously quite sizable. And we are indeed fortunate. Thank you. Anything else you want to add?
No, you said it well. We're very blessed to have a good neighbor like Mr. Stone and Sterilite who has really improved the quality for the residents of Townsend.
Okay.
Would you like a motion?
Please,
I make a motion.
you sign, review and sign.
Okay. Make a motion that we review and sign the letter of appreciation to Sterilite Corporation for improvements to the athletic facilities at Hawthorne Brook Middle School.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we're prepared to vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
While you're signing the letter, I'll add one little piece to the Hawthorne Brook athletic complex conversation, which is a grant from the U.S. Tennis Association, the USTA. They came up and came forward with a grant of $20,000, which paid for the striping of the courts, the tennis courts, and some other work over there. That was a grant that Sandy Shepherd Gay at the middle school put together, and USTA stepped up and funded us with that. So really a good example of tapping into disparate resources to get a project done, a long overdue project. So thanks to Sandy as well, and everybody else who worked on that application.
3.7, review the draft special town meeting warrant, discuss rescheduling the meeting to November 19th, 2013, and discuss reopening the warrant.
I've put the draft warrant together for the board. Reviewed it with department heads this morning. Not a lot of, I don't think there are any surprises on this. We've talked about a lot of these in the past, and a lot of them are the articles that we see every year: paying prior year bills, transferring from free cash to stabilization, things like that. We had talked previously about having this on October 29th, which would have worked out just fine. However, we're getting close, and I can't get into any details, but we're getting close to settling some of our collective bargaining contracts. I'm not sure that we would be in a position to vote on them on October 29th. I'm hopeful that if we push town meeting back a few weeks, that we would be able to vote on at least some of them, if not all of them, at that point. So I'm recommending and requesting the board's approval to change the date of town meeting to November 19th. It's a Tuesday night.
It's about 3 weeks later than it would.
About 3 weeks later. It avoids the holiday weeks. The week prior to that is Veterans Day, and the week after it is Thanksgiving. But it's getting into that busy season, but I think it's still a time where we should be able to manage a quorum. Last year, we had our special town meeting on the 14th or the 15th, I think. And actually, I think the last 2 years we've been right around the 14th, 15th. So my personal preference is to do it a little bit earlier, but for varying reasons, we put it
The
off.
19th would work.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping that we can wrap up those contracts and take care of them as well. So.
Colin?
I think that, I have no issues with the
No
date.
issue? All right.
I think that's, I think we might, when do we have to approve the warrant?
We would do that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, and as far as reopening the warrant, we would obviously, if we decide to vote to change the, one would be we would obviously reopen the warrant and then establish a new closing.
Yeah, it doesn't really allow us much time to reopen and accept additional articles. Because the next meeting will be the night presumably that you vote on the warrant, it doesn't really leave a lot of opportunity for additional articles to come in. If you wanted to open it until tomorrow night or until Thursday night or whatever, something like that, I could incorporate, and then you could decide on the 22nd to include those additional articles or not. I'll leave it up to you. I'm not expecting anything else, and I think everything that has been, everything that's there is, I think, everything that we need to have.
So the main thing is to change the
date.
Change the date. Okay. Have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we reschedule the special town meeting to November 19th, 2013.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we're prepared to vote on. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 3.8, discuss proposed slot parlor casino in Leominster and how it may potentially impact or benefit Townsend, and authorize the town administrator to negotiate on town's behalf. Andy, interesting one.
Yeah, it's certainly something that doesn't come up every day or every year or every career, probably. There are 3 slots parlors proposed in Massachusetts, or 3 applicants for the one available slots parlor. One is in Leominster. It's on Jungle Road. It's down in the southeast portion of the town, right off of Route 190, near, I think there's a Walmart and a Lowe's down there, right near the Lancaster line and the Sterling line. We have had some conversations with the casino developers, and we've had some conversations with our town council on this issue as well. I don't like divulging negotiations in public, and would prefer not to do so here. Unfortunately, it's not something that we're legally able to do in executive session, so suffice to say, there are some concerns that I have about the potential impact of the casino on the town, most notably traffic-related. However, there are also some benefits that I think we can get from the casino, from the development of the casino. And what I would ask for from the board is authorization to go forward and negotiate with the casino developer, along with our town council and our colleagues in other communities. We're sort of approaching this on a unified front to try to mitigate the impacts of the project on Townsend.
Seems reasonable. Anything, any thoughts?
I mean, I think that's a good idea, and
Okay.
obviously it's gonna be, traffic is a huge concern for
Yeah.
residents,
The
so.
good thing is it's far enough away from, but still, I think there could be an impact on the town, and I don't have any problem with authorizing the town administrator to negotiate on the town's behalf.
And I will be coming to the board at some future meeting, perhaps as soon as the next meeting, with potentially with an agreement with the casino developer. We're trying to move this along quickly. The applications were due, I believe they were due Friday, I guess they were due. They're being reviewed now by the Gaming Commission. This is all fairly fast track, and so we're going to try to move quickly, and if there are agreements that can be had, we'll try to get them
Do
done.
you have any estimate of what the cost is to the town in terms of utilizing town council, since we're not the only town involved? And I'm sure there were probably, templates in place of some type to.
Right.
Could you speak to that?
We expect that the town council costs will be fairly modest. Our council is the primary council throughout the state for municipalities in dealing with the casino developers and the negotiations with the casino developers, not just the slots parlor, but the full casinos as well. So in that regard, that all helps to minimize our costs. He doesn't have to reinvent the wheel for us. And we're also working with our colleagues in our neighboring towns toward the same end. So we don't expect that.
Whatever costs would be shared?
Correct.
All right, that was my question. Okay.
Would you like a motion?
Please.
Make a motion that we authorize the town administrator to negotiate on the town's behalf in regards to the proposed slot parlor casino in Leominster and how it may potentially impact the town of Townsend, or impact or benefit the town of Townsend.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we'll prepare to vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3.9, review request from Police Chief Irving Marshall to approve a temporary waiver for Brent W. Davis from the basic police recruit training provisions of General Law, Chapter 41, Section 96B.
The board appointed Brent last week as a officer recruit, and this is a standard request for a waiver that the chief has asked for the board in order to allow him to get started on his duties here.
Okay.
Make a motion that we approve the request of Police Chief Irving Marshall to approve a temporary waiver for Brent W. Davis for the basic police recruit training provisions of General Law, Chapter 41, Section 96B.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 4.1, vote to appoint Michael A. Keefe as a constable for a term from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2016. This is a renewal, I assume?
It's not a renewal, but Mr. Keefe was the constable in the past.
Okay, I remember the name.
It's not a renewal at the moment.
No issues?
Nope. And this would be, the vote should be contingent upon the acquisition of a bond.
Okay. Okay.
Make a motion that we appoint Michael A. Keefe as a constable for a term from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2016, contingent on acquisition of a bond.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 4.3. Vote to appoint the following to the Energy Committee for the terms noted. Votes may be taken. Sue
Dynak.
Huh?
Dynak.
Dynak? Okay, that's a, this looks like a Slavic name. Sue Dynak.
Don't hold it against her.
All right. That's a tough one. That's one of those people when you can't know the diplomas. Christopher Campion, Sue Dynak, would be from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2016. And Christopher Campion from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2015.
I make a motion that we appoint the following to the Energy Committee for terms as noted. Sue Dynak from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2016, and Christopher Campion from July 1st, 2013 to June 30th, 2015.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Now prepare to vote on. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5.1, Board of Selectmen updates reports. I don't have anything. Do you have anything, Colin?
No?
All right. 5.2, Town Administrator updates or reports. Andy, please.
Just one quick item. We've had some of our staff, Mark Mercurio and Roger Raposa and his guys from the Cemetery and Parks Department have been doing some work over at the so-called Town Hall Annex.
I saw that dumpster out there.
The old bank building out front. We've talked a lot over the years, both about that building and the Hart Library and what to do with both of them. One of the things that we're starting to encounter here is a shortage of space for storage. And there are a number of records being stored over there now. The climate over there historically, or since the fire department moved out of there, has not been conducive to proper record storage. So Mark and Roger and their guys have gone in, they've torn out all of the old carpet, took down all the drapes. It's amazing the odors that are held in those
Absolutely.
materials.
Yeah.
They're gonna throw a quick coat of primer and paint on the walls and the ceilings, cover up some of the stains and imperfections in the walls, and then we're gonna just use it for storage. We'll bring in some racks and start to put that
Good.
to use and free up a little space here. The paperless office has never come to pass, at least in the government sector, and in Massachusetts, we're still required to keep a lot of our records on paper rather than electronic media. So, and we continue to generate more paper than ever. So our spots fill up faster than ever. So I'd like to just give a shout out to them for the work that they're doing. They also repaired the handicap ramp, and even though they won't be used, the front steps of the bank building had started to crumble, so they did a little bit of masonry work on those. So we'll try to sharpen that building up a little bit.
Good. Okay, thank you. I think I wanted to make a note. Is this the weekend for the Greg Reeves? It is this weekend.
I
correct?
believe it's this weekend, yeah.
Right.
I saw the signs, and I don't recall the date, but I'm pretty sure.
Worthy
it's this
cause. So if you're a walker or runner, 10 o'clock, I believe, is the registration. No, I think
It's
might start
10:30.
earlier than that. I think the race starts at 10. Might be 8 to 10, something like that for registration.
Yeah, there are a number of signs up around town, so you shouldn't have any trouble getting information on it.
Yeah, definitely a worthy cause.
All right. 5.3, review signed payroll warrant.
I make a motion that we sign the payroll warrant out of session.
Seconded. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we'll vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5.4, review signed bills payable warrant.
I make a motion that we sign the bills payable warrant out of session.
Seconded. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, we're prepared to vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6, executive session under general law, chapter 30A, section 21A6, regarding real property, and section 21A, section 3, regarding litigation. This will call for a roll call vote. Do you have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we enter executive session under general law, chapter 30A, section 21A6, regarding real property, and section 21A3 regarding litigation, and adjourn from the meeting.
This will call for a roll call vote.
Colin McNabb, aye.
Bob Plamondon, aye. Thank you, folks. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.